So, Season 2 of Wednesday has officially wrapped, and after a painfully long 3-year wait, we were finally given a new batch of chaos, secrets, and of course, new characters, and a lot of them. Some of the newcomers were a complete drag to watch, others actually surprised me, and even a few returning faces from Season 1 went through some changes. Some for the better, some for the worst, in this new Wednesday era. This season had me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and even left me with some questions unanswered. It was finally nice to return back to Nevermore Academy and see these awesome and interesting characters again. But I do want to specify that I will only be ranking major characters that made an appearance in Season 2, so if I miss your favorite side character who showed up for 5 minutes, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. This list will include judgment, praise, and shame, possibly all at once. And if that sounds harsh, good. I know Wednesday would approve, so let's dive in. Let's begin with Enid. After Season 1, I didn't rewatch the show that much, so coming back showed me how much I missed Enid's personality. She continues to be colorful, bright, and positive, but also when figuring things out for herself and getting in some pretty serious situations. She's also just the perfect roommate for Wednesday and is the complete opposite, creating a nice contrast. Wednesday's personality makes Enid's more prominent, and the dynamic between the two is perfect. Her character doesn't really change much from Season 1 besides being faced with more challenges like becoming an alpha wolf and being dragged into Wednesday's drama. She remains to be one of the more interesting characters on the show and continues to grow. Enid's become more confident this season. I've noticed being able to take bigger risks and embrace more of her wolf side. In this season, Enid struggles with the fear of isolation if she turns into the alpha wolf under circumstances, as these wolves get hunted and lose the ability of becoming human once again. Despite it all, she still proves to be loyal to Wednesday by sacrificing herself and becoming the alpha wolf forever in order to save her. Her relationship with Wednesday this season becomes more complicated and messy between the two, but works in the end. I love Enid, and she just scratches a part of my brain that is so satisfying. So Enid's going into S tier. Next up we have Tyler. He's a Hyde, manipulated, imprisoned, and deeply angry. The show spends a lot of time exploring what it means for Tyler to be someone both dangerous and vulnerable. The Hyde inside him is very powerful, but it's also tied to trauma. His relationship with his mother, Francois, becomes central in Season 2. She was presumed dead, but her return complicates everything. She tries to act as a master to help him, but she's dying and in the end wants to take away Tyler's Hyde ability. Tyler still blames and hates Wednesday and Enid, but there's definitely an identity problem he's going through this season. He unexpectedly kills his previous master and begins to start defying his own mother, leaving him unstable and no one to control him. Nearing the end of the season, Tyler's arc shifts and claims he's done with masters and mothers, and indicating he's ready to become more independent and act on his own until he's given a proposal. He's offered guidance and a support group for other Hydes with no masters. The season really shows us his human conflict, pain, and grief, but also how he can still be that cold monster, which leaves me thinking if he will have a redemption arc in Season 3. This character is one of the most interesting characters to watch and never makes me bored, so for those reasons I'm putting Tyler into S tier. Next up we have Ajax, a character that's fun, but this season really made me feel bad for him. After he and Enid build a pretty romantic relationship that seems pretty much inseparable, Season 2 begins with Enid just completely ghosting Ajax and finding a whole new love interest. This causes Ajax to go through a couple stages. He starts to question Enid and is completely heartbroken, wanting answers and the possibility of fixing them. Then shifts to acting like he doesn't care about Enid and doesn't want to see her at all. Ajax also has some cool powers you don't see much, but he's a Gorgon that has snakes for hair and can turn people to stone, which makes for a pretty epic scene. He's also very shy and one of the more relaxed characters and doesn't get a big spotlight. Ajax does sometimes get involved with the major mysteries, but is still an important character for the plot and other characters' stories. This season he does build a pretty good relationship with Bianca, and she leans on him for help with family problems, which further helps build him more as a character and not just Enid's love interest. Ajax isn't a character you hate or completely love. He's definitely very cool though, so I'm putting Ajax into A tier. Next up we have Isaac Knight, or Slurp. For this character I'm going to count both his zombie time and human form as one. Now let's begin with Isaac Knight when he was Slurp. Well, first of all, his backstory in that Tim Burton claymation style was sick, but also set him up pretty well and made me curious for him. Him as Slurp was pretty cool to watch, but I didn't really think much of it, and I thought it would just be more of a side plot with no real connection to the main plotline, but it was actually the complete opposite. As he begins to become into this human form, we learn that this is Francois' brother and Tyler's uncle, and he has a history with the Addams family. I do feel as if his story was rushed to be the main villain, but to be honest, I enjoyed it and I love how in this show, everything always connects for the bigger story. Isaac is pretty menacing along with his family helping him out. His motivation for saving his sister I did not care about too much, but his true backstory of how he tried to kill Gomez Addams was a creative way to tie everything together as well. The connection with Thing being his own hand was actually insane as well, and I feel like they did such a good job at making him a villain that has caused problems for both present and past characters in this show. He also kidnapped Pugsley for his electric powers for this machine like Gomez previously, but a part of me wanted him to be friends with Pugsley as he kind of did bring him back to life. I didn't really find him all that scary when he was fully human, and I think I preferred him more when he had that deteriorated human look and looked way creepier. I think this character to me was very entertaining and very unpredictable, so I'm putting him into A tier. Next we have Agnes, and in my opinion is by far one of the best additions to the cast. Her character starts as just a creepy fangirl for Wednesday until we find out she's kidnapped Enid and Bruno just to impress her. She then starts to slowly become Wednesday's stalker and does all of Wednesday's deeds and tasks. Agnes in the beginning kind of doesn't have her own identity until the end of the season, and she realizes she doesn't really care about Wednesday's opinions and finally becomes her own person. Enid gives Agnes the advice to be her own psycho rather than trying to be someone she's not and impress someone that doesn't even care for her. Agnes starts going to a talk group and tries to discover who she is. Both Enid and Agnes at the gala near the end do this amazing dance that keeps replaying in my head constantly. Agnes is also an impulsive character and she's very insecure. She constantly needs validation and attention. I did think Agnes would just be another annoying side character, but the change to her being much more important and one of the main characters of the season made me love her. I'm putting Agnes into A tier. Next we have Pugsley, who had quite the growth spurt since season 1. Just look at the difference. Anyways, this character definitely stepped it up from season 1 as he did only appear in a few episodes for a short period of time. Now he has a lot more screen time to judge him off of. First of all, I actually really like him as a whole, but he definitely made me roll my eyes at times just based on his pure decision making. He definitely acts before thinking. He resurrects Isaac Knight, which was a huge problem for the Addams family this season. He finally becomes a Nevermore student, and it's cool to see him interact with other characters we know and love. He is roommates with Eugene, but they aren't exactly friends. Pugsley is kind of lonely this season and finds comfort in his pet Slurp, which is Isaac Knight, but by the time the season ends, he and Eugene are on track to becoming closer together. He isn't like Wednesday, who is creepy and quiet. He has heart, is sensitive, and is quiet but not in the Wednesday creepy way. He also does get kidnapped and saved and had a huge connection to the main plot, and his powers are pretty awesome but wasn't seen enough. Altogether, this character is pretty cool but does make some pretty stupid decisions which made me annoyed, and I think he needs more screen time to develop. So I'm putting Pugsley into C tier. Next up we have Wednesday, the character the show is named after. Now this season she is of course faced with another murder mystery, but this time more centered around her. She is the target this season and faces a lot of new and familiar faces. She struggles with the premonition of Enid's death and spends most of the season finding ways to prevent this from happening. Due to this, her and Enid's friendship begins to drift as she's preoccupied in saving her, but by the end of the season they are closer than ever. This season, she definitely shows her emotions much more, like telling Thing and Enid how she truly feels without her cruel, threatening ways of complimenting and affirmation. She also does lose her powers at the beginning of the season and becomes a huge issue as she needed to find who the avian killer is, making the challenge much harder. She is put under a lot of stress this season and is forced to take on the weight of these problems. Her relationships have much more depth this season, which is quite evident. Wednesday and her mother fight a lot this season, but unite to help rescue Pugsley, and her premonition of an Addams family member dying I believe to have strengthened the bond between the two. She also does release Tyler instead of killing him, which was quite shocking and makes me wonder if she has feelings for him or if it was just to save Pugsley. I do of course love the cold and not caring Wednesday, but I think I like this version better where she cares about protecting others and explores more of her quote-unquote soft side. So I'm putting Wednesday into S tier. Next we have Uncle Fester. I'm pretty sure he had much more screen time this season, but if I'm wrong, it definitely felt like he had a bigger role and was very entertaining. This is like the comfort character for this show, and I don't think a single person dislikes him. This season he helps Wednesday and is involved in uncovering the conspiracy around the Lois program. He was so funny this season, and we got to see a lot more of his personality. When they show all of his different identities like Fester Fiesta or Fester Dubois, it made me crack up so much. His powers are also electricity, and he is very good at sneaking around and even gets some romantic action from the lunch lady Louise. Uncle Fester always shows how devoted he is to the Addams family and is one of the adults that Wednesday trusts and calls for help. We also see a flashback of him as a child, and he seemed to be more dark, but I feel like now he is more childlike, but don't mistake it, he is still very deadly. We also saw a brain scan and saw a lot of things such as scissors and nails, which was quite funny and explained a lot. He definitely moved up a lot of ranks from season 1, and there's a talk of an Uncle Fester show releasing, which I most definitely will watch. So I'm putting Uncle Fester into A tier. Next we have Eugene. Just like Pugsley, he definitely went through some physical changes and looks a lot older now. But now anyways, I really like this character in season 1, but I feel like this season he was completely underutilized, and I'm judging from season 2 performance only. Sadly, I feel like he was much better in the first season and was a core aspect. He was this cute nerdy little kid and had some pretty cool powers to control bugs. Him and Wednesday were very close, and he is awkward but sincere. He's one of the few characters Wednesday truly cared about and had a sense of protection for Eugene. In season 2, I feel like they strayed away from what made Eugene unique and interesting. This season he is kind of rude and tells Pugsley that he's only his roommate as a favor for Wednesday. And it almost seems like he thinks he's too cool and dismissive. His side plot with Slurp just felt like a filler for the show, and he doesn't really provide anything. Besides being nerdy, he doesn't really have that much depth this season and feels inconsistent. This season he was actually given more scenes, but it felt like he had less of an impact compared to season 1. Before he would interest me every time he was on screen, but now I kind of just scroll on my phone every time he pops up. This season also rarely used his powers, and I feel like it was such a waste because his powers are by far one of the coolest and I see the most potential with them. I still do like the actor in this role, it was just more of a writing problem. So I'm putting him into C tier. Now we both have Morticia and Gomez Addams. Now these two had much more scenes this season and I won't complain at all. I really like both of these characters, but let's focus on Morticia for now. Morticia was by far more used and was actually central to this season. Her and Wednesday's dynamic was pretty interesting, although I do side with Wednesday because she is the main character. I also very clearly see her side. She also wants to protect her daughter from visions as she believed that her sister Ophelia suffered the same and dealt with the consequences. She's also Nevermore's school fundraiser this season and is around a lot more of the main characters, which makes for some pretty cool interactions. Her and Wednesday also have a pretty cool duel which is sick to watch, then she proceeds to burn Goody's book of spells. Now Gomez Addams this season was very good and to me is seen as a comedic relief character. He's very funny in every scene he's in and he gets involved in Pugsley's zombie issues. He is a caring father that cares about his children, always trying to connect with them, whether that's with food, humor, or tales. He's very supportive and warm with both Pugsley and Wednesday and encourages them to be who they are. We finally learn about his backstory and by the end connects to the main plot of the show. He was roommates with Isaac Knight and was almost killed by him, which was pretty insane, and as this story was unfolding, my jaw literally dropped. Now both Morticia and Gomez play crucial roles this season, whether it's cutting off Isaac Knight's hand or Gomez burying Isaac Knight at the Skull Tree. They are both so fun to watch and make the Wednesday show and Addams family feel so pleasant. They are both going into A tier. Next we have Marilyn Thornhill. Now in season 1 she was actually very threatening and pretty menacing. She was the master of the hide and hated outcasts as her motive. In season 1 she tries to bring back Crackstone and destroy Nevermore and kill all the outcasts. Now this season she did not have the same vibe or impact at all. At the end of season 1 I assumed she was dead after Eugene swarmed her with a bunch of bees, but they revealed to us in episode 4 that she survived, which kind of shocked me. She is locked away in Willow Hill in season 2 and basically gets written off. She wants to see Tyler, but she is used by Dr. Fairburn as part of Tyler's rehabilitation. After all inmates are released in Willow Hill due to a power outage, she takes advantage of this to basically release the hide and regain ownership. Tyler feels betrayed and kills her, and that's basically it. If we were talking about last season, she would be ranked pretty high on the tier list, but she just wasn't as important and faced her consequences. So I'm putting her into D tier. Next up we have Thing. Now I can't really say too much about this character as it is just a hand, but this season we got some pretty cool additions to his story. We learned that he is actually Isaac Knight's hand. He finally learns about his origin of how Morticia Addams cuts off Isaac's hand and the electrical surge animated the hand giving birth to Thing. This season he remains to be the Addams family and Wednesday's ally and continues to help them. After Isaac captures Thing, he removes the glove then forces a physical reattachment to reclaim his hand. Now it seems after that, Thing is completely gone, but Thing does not remain under his control. In a climatic moment, when Isaac tries to kill Wednesday, Thing resists. He pulls out Isaac's clockwork heart and kills him, then deattaches and returns to serve the Addams family once again. After this season, Thing is no longer just a helper, he's recognized as having an agency and moral weight. His loyalty is confirmed, his identity becomes more than just Wednesday's hand. He also is very funny and makes for some pretty great scenes, and he's always helping characters emotionally and physically. He really is our right-hand man. I'm putting Thing into S tier. Alright, this is the final tier list. I hope we don't have to wait another 3 years for season 3 of Wednesday, as I enjoy all the content this show produces. If I missed any characters, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fictional content, and as always, thanks for watching.